Estate Show, a show about random things and occasionally some real estate. This show is brought to you by Houston's Home Connection team. I'm Tom Riggins, joined by Josh Arkless, and we just happen to be Houston's Home Connection team. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and at www.houstonshomeconnection.com.
Thomas, what's the good word, my friend?
Oh, well, I think I've said in the past we're in the dog day heat of summer, but I think it just got hotter.
Yeah, every time that you think that you're going to get that break, I think that little teaser where it was in, I think it was high 80s,
Yeah.
which felt like a good day of 60s. But I just saw the weather report last night where we're looking at like 99, 100, 199. It never ends. There's not that day where you can get that break.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Garrett Cole fastballs, awesome. Talking about the heat, not so awesome.
Yeah. I don't know, Gary Cole, this, that, and the other. You're an Astro homer, but
I'm sorry that your Cubs suck.
yeah,
I mean, they actually don't this year, other than that we
year.
beat them 2 out of 3 games.
Yeah,
but.
Lester completely blew it. But on another note, are you a fan of hot things, outside of women, but food items? Food items.
Oh, I can't wait for my wife to hear that one. Just because she is a hot woman.
That's right.
Oh, Josh, we're heading down a deep road today, but that's all right because I know people listen and they love the fact that we are the way we are.
Did you not want me to agree with you on that?
I'll let you agree with me.
All right.
Anyway, back to our original topic, hot food. I love hot food.
Okay. So last Sunday, some local residents in my neighborhood, Fall Creek, had organized a farmer's market, which they had been working on for quite a while. And I thought it was a complete success. Had many different things. And for the first farmer's market, just went off really well, I thought, as far as vendors and I think they're going to grow it and they'll bring in more. It's just like anything, it grows over time. But my favorite stand there, and I can't remember the lady's name, but she makes her own homemade salsa. She also sells, which this was great for my middle daughter, she sold a vegan, vegan beef jerky. I know, I see that look in your face. It wasn't horrible, but if you saw the burger, I can't even call it a burger, that I had to cook for my vegetarian daughter last night, which was just a bunch of vegetables mashed up into a patty and then grill. Yeah, I know. I see that look on her face, but that's the route she's on.
Okay.
Anyway, so I go to this lady. She's got her stand up, and she gave me a little. I'm a big fan of hot stuff. I'm not going to be that guy who's going to take that chip challenge and burn my mouth.
Right.
There's a limit that I have. So anyway, she has this salsa, it's peppercorn salsa, not medium mild in this. One had that hazard
Right.
thing on the cover, and I'm like, oh smokes, I better try this. So before I tried it, she said this is my warmest one. It had Grim Reaper pepper, I think it's called.
Okay. It's
Carolina pepper, and then
Okay.
Grim Reaper.
Okay.
Is the two part of it mixed with a bunch of other stuff. But,
Right. Whatever it was, she
and
went
it
with the hot
wasn't
stuff.
bad, and I handled it, and so my youngest daughter and my middle daughter, they'll eat hot stuff as well. My wife and oldest daughter, they'll sniff it and have to go clean their nostrils out, that type of situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some good stuff. I'll have to let you try that.
Well, I really don't care about you trying it. How are you handling it now? Down the road.
Well, after I just kicked back that large coffee, so straight up black coffee with that salsa from the previous night is just not doing well with my throat right now. So I could probably use some milk and I don't know, a chocolate chip cookie or something.
Yeah, no, I'm a big hot sauce, and probably I used to do the ones where they just be getting with the guys, going like, who can do the hottest sauce? Who can do the hottest sauce? I'm a little more. I need some. If I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I do the mango habanero, which I think is the third hottest.
That'll put some
I've
hair in your
stepped
chest.
up one more and just was like, this is just hot. This doesn't do anything for me. So I do like to have some flavor in it, not just blow my taste buds off.
Well, for one of these podcasts, I think we need to try that chip challenge. Now, I'm not going to eat a pepper, but I'll try a potato chip.
Oh, one of those, the
Yeah.
world's hottest chip.
Yeah, as
I don't
long as
know.
there's a gallon of milk next to me.
Yeah, I'd rather do if you ever watch the, I like that YouTube show, Hot Ones, where they have the hot wings and they go from mild to hotter and they ask each other questions. I'd rather us do that.
It's like there's no escape once your mouth is on fire.
Yeah.
It never gets better. You don't know when the end's going to come.
And I say that. I mean, the last time we did go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I swore that was it. I wasn't going back.
So you're the guy that's over there needing napkins not only for his hands but his forehead?
No, just the next day I paid for it.
Ugh.
It was a long night, I'll put it that way. So, and that's just a new, normally I've been able to handle it pretty well. So,
Well, let's get off that because that was leading down.
Yeah, that was-
the
we
wrong
don't wanna go down
road
that
of
road.
TMI right there. So obviously with school coming back here, and shoot, if you talk about it, it'd be 4 days back to school. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is
Yeah.
12th start for Humble ISD.
right.
How's that getting back in the swing for you guys?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't
Now it's
handle
okay
it.
to be a participant in your kids' lives.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but
Okay.
this is if my wife ever passes away, and it's obviously not. I mean, we're hosed. I told you I don't even know how to pay bills. She handles. This is it goes over me. Like I get there and I'm like, I'm sure I would muddle through, but my kids. There'd have to be people taking pity on the fact that they were motherless and help me because I don't know what we're doing. So I don't. I think we're okay. I think there's a lot of taking some inventory of, hey, what do we still have, and some of it is, hey, it's because both my my kids are, and well, all yours are too, in upper education. So some of it's like going, well, until we get to a class and a teacher says, how many times have you done that? Oh, I got the list, and find out, oh, we didn't need any of this. The teacher wants something totally different. Yeah, my teacher said she wasn't going along with what they did. She wants these. So I think we're kind of going with we'll go the first week of school, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I think that's the plan.
So what was weird is my kids the other day had been so excited because they knew they were going back to school, not even clothes shopping. They get jazzed up about the pens and the pencils and this and that and the other. And so my wife took them out, and kudos to her because that, shopping is not my forte. I used to actually surprisingly like to shop for clothes and that, but now I see how that goes in the checking account.
Right.
So that's all in my brain, right? So I just let her go, and I just asked not to be told what is spent on stuff, and everything works out pretty well.
Yeah, so like I said, we'll see what happens. We'll be fine. The boys, I've never had. I think we've always been sort of that last minute deal, so I'm not too worried about it. It'll all get done. My son is more excited about football starting up again, and he's ready to, practice and that kind of stuff. But speaking of, school, you and I this morning, we went out and shot a quick little video. So if you want to go to the Houston's Home Connection Team Facebook page, you'll see we did a video where we've asked people to comment about their favorite teacher. We're going to give away 3 $100 gift certificates to 3 teachers in the Humble ISD system, and we want people to basically go in and say why a teacher that's deserving, who does a lot of stuff, and for a fact they're paying out of their pocket, and we want to help offset some of that cost.
Yeah, and that probably shouldn't be a surprise to everybody right now, but obviously schools being strapped the way they are, that stuff that you see around the classrooms and maybe even extra hand sanitizer or tissues or what have you, that comes out of the teacher's pocket probably 9 out of 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a huge amount, but we're just doing our little part, and maybe it'll spark somebody to do their little part too.
Right, yeah. You see a lot of backpack drives and a lot of things like that, and we discussed a backpack drive for teachers, but I think we were going to fill it with some adult beverages and bath bombs.
I still think that's a game winner. And
we may have to look at that down the road. Get some Houston's Home Connection Team themed backpacks and fill it with some stuff.
It's not a bad idea.
Hey, listen, coming back after the Christmas break, I think people forget Teachers are, that's just like starting all over
Oh
for
God,
teachers,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, yeah.
Although this year it's going to be a little different, you know, because we have we're changing up the schedule, so um, it may not be as bad because there's going to be a lot more breaks in between.
I can't confirm or deny if this is true, but I was talking to somebody at Specs, and she said that the actual margarita mix and tequila sales go down this time of year.
Oh, really?
So it must be to doing the teachers are not drinking as much once they go back to school.
Yeah,
The swimsuits are packed away, and the margarita is mixed.
Time to get their heads straight and get back into the
That's
classroom.
right. Now they can all. I suppose they can still drink from 5 p.m.
Yeah,
on. But.
you know. Well, you know, and going to school, I think if you checked out our podcast last week, we went and did an interview with Mr. McDonald at Summer Creek, and I've had a lot of great, you know, reaction from that. And if you haven't seen it, go back, obviously, once again, to our Facebook page and find the link to that. But it was a good deal, and I'm excited for this school year. I mean, my son is going to be a senior this year at that school, and I'm excited for, you know, what's coming in that area, along with, you know, all the other schools too.
Yeah, he was a good interview. It's good when your person you're interviewing can pretty much hold the conversation.
Yeah, right.
And it doesn't allow me and you to have to get in the way and talk too much.
Which we tend to ramble on anyway. So this is why it's good to have our own show. It's fun. I was doing this is where my brain just went in 4 different directions. ADD.
Ad?
Yeah. I was doing a test of a thing where we were talking about doing some shows from a vehicle and video ourselves with the GoPro. And I said in there, like, I may do this every day, just film myself on the way to it. It was quite therapeutic to just sort of talk. And of course, I did video myself yelling at some old woman who didn't get out of the way fast enough. But it was kind of an interesting.
Got out of the way.
It's an interesting deal to watch yourself drive and the reactions you have. So, as the many times that you and I videotape ourselves, I'm always looking at myself going, is that really? Do I make that expression all the time? And more, I'm really, it's really what I do. And it is what it is.
I fully believe that if more people had, I'm completely guilty of this, if we filmed ourselves or if we looked in the mirror while we were yelling or in a pissy mood, I guarantee we would change that real quick. Of how big of a jackbutt we look like.
Well, that's what always gets you. You know, some of those videos, you'll see viral videos of somebody just losing their mind, and you just want to look and go like, do you realize what you look like? I mean, because it feels like they don't think that they're doing anything wrong. Like they feel justified in what they are, but the world's watching going, that's not a good look.
No.
And, you know, they just seem to keep right on going, and you kind of wonder if they look back later and go, oh, my gosh, what did that?
I hope so. But it's good that the things that we do in our car are kept on our car and hopefully aren't made public. But I think we might come up with a couple of good ideas for a couple of car shoots and, you know, realtors in cars or something. But we're always thinking of ways to provide good content for all of you. And this podcast, even if one person listens, is probably more therapeutic for us to get our ramblings out. Than
to have to unleash it on you in private whenever you run. You can say, I heard the podcast. You really don't have to tell me.
Oh, I'm sure my wife is pumped that I get all my words out here instead of going home and sharing them with her.
Oh, well, let's see what else.
Nothing. We're just we're in that mode. We got our middle daughter's in volleyball right now, which is 2-a-days. So I'm telling you what, this has been, for all the times that I've carted my oldest daughter around everywhere, sat in a car reading a book for 2 hours, she's now paying us back because she is the driver for our middle daughter. So that has been a perk, but I mean it's the real deal. You know, they're waking up at 6:30, getting ready to go, and it's kind of like a back to school. It's a weird time because it's almost as much anxiety for the parents as it is for the kids. You know, you're talking about back to lunches. You're talking about we already have in the first week of school. There's scheduled meetings at night for orchestra, athletics, and it's like a nonstop grind that it's taxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I think we've got, I think we've already got stuff planned throughout this week. Even on Sunday, they're doing something at the school. And of course, Monday's the first day, and you get into all that, and then it just feels like all you're doing is sitting back, waiting for the next adjustment of what are they telling you to do. And in our business, I think that's probably what is hard, for people to understand. In our business, if you have a job, you can say, well, listen, I got a job. In our business, sometimes you have the freedom, but it also means you don't have the freedom. It's like, well, I've got somebody scheduled a closing at this time, and I really can't be at the school, but it's hard to go and tell everybody, here's all the stuff I have going, and then they go, okay, hey, you can run and do this. It's like, I can't. I've got other stuff that's happening because it's not a typical 9-to-5 job, if you will. So
it's not, but I will say that the freedom allows us to do that.
And don't get me wrong. I have a lot of freedom to do things so that my wife can do her job and what have you. But it's funny the things that it just seems like every time you get something going in our business, real estate, the big saying is if you're not doing anything, if you're just going like, man, I really need to get some business, go on vacation.
Oh yeah.
Because as soon as you start to go on vacation, everybody pops up and says, oh my gosh, I need this. As I talked about in a couple of podcasts ago, when I went to go help my dad move into assisted living, all of a sudden I get people like, hey, can you list our house? Can we talk about this? But where were you people like 3 weeks ago? And I was just sitting around, with nothing to do.
Well, I'm going to leave town tomorrow if that's the case. I'll be back on Monday when school starts. So feel free to call me while I'm out of town.
Yeah. So, is
that a loss of words?
Yeah, this is one of those times when typically you have to understand, guys. We actually do not plan much out. We walk in here and we just start recording ourselves and see what comes up. And I'm kind of at the end of any kind of deals. The real estate market. Let's talk a little real estate.
Might as well.
We're at the end of the year, and listen. It's not that houses don't sell. I think Josh and I would both tell you we've sold houses in every month of the year. I could probably go back. I've had a closing at least in every month of the year sometime. But it does dry up a little bit because people are not thinking about moving whenever their kids are going back to school and they've got stuff to do. So we're kind of looking at a lull in the market. I think my historical view is a lull in the market until maybe around getting closer to the Christmas break, and I think you do get a little bit of a bump, and then you're usually pretty slow until next spring.
Yeah, so there was a couple tidbits in the real estate world that popped up recently. Just last week, the Feds had lowered the interest rate to pre-recession 2008 levels, which I was convinced when we were hitting threes just a couple of years ago that was it.
Right.
Once the Feds come back, they get their heads on straight. We're going 5s and 6s again. It could get in a dangerous section again. But no, they lowered them, and I'm hearing they're not done. So if you're thinking about buying, I would at least go out and take a peek. If you're thinking about refinancing, maybe now's that great time to get in that 15-year loan. You know what I mean? Because there's a possibility you get down in the 2s on a 15.
Trust me, we did a 15-year loan, and we're at, I think we got 2 or 3 years left, and our house is going to be paid off. And I'd never thought that would be possible in my life. I just thought I'll have a mortgage on my life. That's just the way it is. And we got in the last time, and we got it in 2010, and we had 3 1/4, and we're able to afford it. And so, yeah, it's definitely. But we're in that time when you might see a lower inventory because people know, but you also see some houses where people are like, "Hey, I got to sell my house," so still a good time to go look. Listen, I moved in October. I moved a whole state over in October. We left Oklahoma and moved to Texas in October. You can do it.
Yeah.
Is it pretty? No, but if you're talking about the fact that with the kind of interest rates we're looking at is a time that you could get into a house you never thought you could get into, don't bypass that opportunity. And we'd love to help you look for houses.
Especially when you're talking, when you could, obviously with your credit score determines is a good determiner of your rate, right?
Right.
So if you're talking, you could probably bounce a point down by maybe in a refinance or purchasing a home, that could save you $200 a month, which over time could just be that big savings that you didn't think on a monthly payment that you could get into.
Yeah.
So,
No, people, because what happens is whenever it goes up, everybody freaks out and goes, "Uh-oh, no one's going to buy houses." I mean, even it goes up to 4.5. There are people, I'm sure you and I both know, that remember, when it was 12 and 13. So
Yeah.
they're laughing, if you're scared of 4.5. When we start getting down into these threes and maybe sub-3 ranges, holy cow.
I gotta just tell you, it's worth your time to entertain a look of something, refinancing, buying, home equity loan, whatever you want. And on another line of the home equity, they've actually bumped that down. So used to be 85% of your loan to value on a cash out refi. So they kicked that down to 80. So there's not as much debt that the feds are actually holding with that. So that's just a little tidbit too on the cash out refi. But if you have been in your home 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you may have more equity in that baby than you think.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's worth, like Josh said, it's worth looking into based on just, it could be a generational change in what happens. Like I said, whether it's being able to get refinance and get into a 15-year note and know that one day you can actually pay your house off before your kids are going, before you even retire, you could have a paid for house.
Yeah.
If something like that's a generational change in financial freedom for a lot of people that they really never thought they would have. So
who really wants financial freedom though when you can put in that pool? That's where my mindset's at, right?
Well, I'm a Dave Ramsey guy, so I throw in my financial freedom, but but no, well, that's it. I have no problem with people putting in pools or whatever, but there's that. I would rather see somebody take advantage of this opportunity where that pool isn't going to kill them versus when they just try to make it happen and then all of a sudden that pool bankrupted them.
Yeah, no, I was teasing about that anyways. It's good to have your home work as an income source for you and not you being an income source for the bank. So if you can pay off your mortgage, it's great. But long story short, rates are low. Buyers are out there. Sellers are looking for new inventory. I know builders are actually short on inventory right now, which has become like a nationwide thing, which if you're in our area, you're thinking, how in the heck can we be short on inventory with all these new construction homes going in? Well, the builders need so much inventory on the ground to keep their loans up, and if people coming in buy their specs.
Well, speaking of which, we've been visiting a new development just off of Westlake Houston called Maryland's, and done some videos and done some things. We're trying to put together some marketing stuff there, but. Man, and then you add low interest, and their tax rate is probably the lowest on Lake Houston, 2.8, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Holy moly! I mean, it's still a good time to get out and look. I think I think that's the view. I should go back and say the view people have is we're heading into a time when people don't buy and sell houses. They're always buying and selling houses.
Always buying.
There's just some stuff going on now that might make it worth somebody's time to go through the trouble of moving, even though school's starting, because you could actually get a deal you may never get again.
That's very true. So we're getting close to wrapping this up. I just want to do a quick little shameless plug. This is our 9th podcast. So
wow.
That's pretty. We're pretty pumped about that. But if you're enjoying the podcast, you can always find us on iTunes. We post them on YouTube, and we also post them on our Houston's Home Connection Team Facebook page. So if you're ever on those things, please subscribe on iTunes, on YouTube, and give us a like on Facebook. I would appreciate it, and we're always looking for new listeners. And if we can be of any help in the Lake Houston corridor with any homes, and frankly all around Houston, but our expertise is in the Lake Houston area. And we won't steer you wrong, and we will definitely find you somebody that can steer you in the right direction outside of the Lake Houston area. So please give us a call.
Sounds good. Well, listen, have a good first week of school and a good back to school. And I know you and I are looking forward to maybe just a little bit of freedom of not having kids all over the house. But,
Yeah, we will come back next week, I'm sure, with a good story about how the first couple of days of school went.
That is probably true. All right, everybody. Well, have a great week.
All right, take care.